Hi everyone, Phil from Tech for Techs here. Today we're going to be looking at this from Lexar. It's the NQ100 2.5 inch solid state drive. The retail price of these is roughly around about $29.99, but obviously different sizes have different prices. But if you're interested in purchasing this, click the link in the description just below. Okay, so let's have a look at this Lexar NQ100, which uses QLC NAND flash. It's unlike the NS100, which uses TLC NAND flash, not to get them mixed up, but this is the NQ model, not the NS model. Okay, so it's a 2.5 inch SATA drive, 6 GB seconds SSD. We're looking at the 240 GB version. That's the one that we got sent. Packaging, blue box. You can see the SSD's got little blue inserts on there, like arrows. Tells you the stuff on the side. On the back as well, you've got the serial number in there. That looks like the drive itself, and it tells you the read speed up to 550 megabytes per second. It says nothing about the write speed. Let me have a closer look. No, unless I'm blind, it doesn't mention the write speed on there. I've had a quick look at the website and I don't see anything regarding the write speed on there either, which can potentially be a bad thing if they're not wanting you to know how fast, or should I say how slow, the write speed is. But let's wait till the testing, because I've done a few tests on SSDs in the past where they haven't put the write speeds on and they've been pretty good. And then we've also had the opposite. So let's wait and see until the testing, which you'll see towards the end of the review. But otherwise, that's pretty much it for the box. So let's open it up and have a look what we've got inside. Okay, so this is what's inside the box. Believe it or not, you've got a solid state drive and you've also got a bit of paperwork. When I say a bit of paperwork, it's quite a bit of paperwork. So why you'd need all that, I don't know. Why they don't just put a QR code on the box and then it'll take you to your language selection, and then you can choose to look at the manual warranty informations. I don't know. There's a lot of manufacturers doing that these days. Saves the environment, as well as saves them money because they don't have to go through all this paperwork. But again, that's up to them. So let's have a look at the SSD itself. As you can see, it says Lexar on the front, solid state drive obviously. It's got these blue arrows, otherwise it's a grey box. It's plastic, not metal. Then on the back, again, it's a grey box. Not much to see, to be honest with you, other than the model numbers, serial numbers. You've got a couple of warranty stickers there and the connection there. Now let's open it up and have a look what's inside the plastic box. Okay, so this is what you've got inside the box. That's for anyone who is interested. So there's not a lot of information on there. There are a few model numbers and stuff, so if you did want to look this up, you can. Again, sorry for the camera, the light shines off and the writing on these things are never the best anyway, but it gives you a rough idea. And there's also a chip on the back as well, so it gives you, there you go, a rough idea. So that's pretty much it. I'm guessing that's your controller, and then you've got your memory chips there, and then obviously when they want to make it bigger, then stick on more chips on. Pretty straightforward really, but again, that's up to you if that means anything to you. I do know a lot of you like searching up model numbers, serial numbers and all this, that and the other online. Okay, so down to testing. As you can see here, that we've got read speeds of roughly 560 megabytes per second using Crystal Disk Mark, which is a pretty good score. But if you actually look at the results on Atto, we're getting about 537. Average them out, you've got, well, 550, so that's a pretty good score. It's what it says that it gets on the box, so I've got nothing to complain about there. What I do have to complain about is the write speed. Not that it's bad, it's that Lexar decided not to publish the write speed on the box or on their website, or at least nowhere obvious, let's put it that way. The write speed we're getting is 505 megabytes per second using Crystal Disk Mark, and using Atto we're getting up to nearly 510. That is actually a pretty good result, so why they're not putting it on the box is beyond me. Generally, if you see an SSD for sale, and it's got the read speed on it, and you think it's good, and then it doesn't mention the write speed, you expect it to be bad. For example, it's like going out and buying a car and saying, yeah, it can do 150 miles an hour, but not telling anyone what the 0 to 60 speed is. It just seems a little bit strange. So, Lexar, I don't know why you haven't, but please put the write speeds on the box. It is something people need to know. Just like when they're buying your SD cards and stuff like that, people need to know the read and write speed. Now what we're going to do is copy this folder called test copy on the desktop onto the solid state drive. And as you can see here, it's basically 42.5 gigs with over 3,000 files there. So we're going to copy that over, and this is going to test the write speed because we're copying the information and writing it to the Lexar SSD. At the beginning of the testing, you will find that the files do copy a lot slower because there are lots of little files, but when it gets to the big files, you will find the speed does speed up, and as you can see here, it's averaging around about that 450-460 megabytes per second. Now we're going to basically do exactly the same thing, but instead going the other way. So we're going to rename the file first of all, so we're going to call it test copy 1, for example, or whatever. As long as it's something different, we're going to say test 999. We're going to copy it from there and actually paste it into a completely different place on the machine. That makes sure that there's no caching issues or anything like that where the machine already thinks it's there and hence doesn't really copy it from the SSD, for example. So we're going to do basically the same test. So this is checking the read speed, and as you can see here, again, when it's doing the lots of little files, it goes a little bit slower, so 40, 50, 60 megabytes per second. But as soon as it does the large files, we're going at 470 megabytes per second. Okay, so comparisons. First of all testing was done on the same machine using the same cables, same components, same software, same version of Windows, same updates, and so forth. So nothing could be skew or different or be accused of anything was biased in one's favour or the other. But as you can see here, the read speed, it performs the best on the table, which is surprising considering it is a value drive. Again, here it performs very well on the write tests. It's not the best on there, but not far behind the NS100, which is the bigger brother of this drive, but it still performs better than, for example, the PNY drive and the Team GX1. So it performs pretty well altogether. Now on to the right, or should I say the read tests again, but with Atto this time, and as you can see, it actually performs better than every drive out there, including its bigger brother, which is quite surprising considering it's the cheaper drive of the two, but it does perform very well again, as I said, beating out all the competition, but again, very little between all of them. On this next test, we use Atto again, and this is the write speed, and as you can see here, the write speed 509 megabytes per second, which is sort of mid-table, but it still performs slightly better than the NS100, which is this bigger brother. But again, all these tests, as you can see, they are very close between each other, and if you would notice any difference in reality, you probably wouldn't. So in conclusion, we've got a decent value solid-state drive from a brand that people actually know and can trust, obviously, Lexar. Negatives? Well, they don't necessarily need the paperwork, which is a little bit niggly. They could put a QR code on there. But the biggest thing I've got to complain about, it's not really from our point of view, it's from theirs, because they're not going to sell as many items because they're not putting the write speed on the box, because the write speed is actually pretty good at over 500 megabytes per second. Some value drives may only do around about 350 megabytes per second on the write. So when it's doing 500, it's something to shout about, but they're sort of hiding it for some reason, or at least making it difficult to find, because I don't see any mention on their website or on the box or packaging or anything like that what the write speed actually is. So overall, would I recommend you go out and buy this? Yes, I would highly recommend you would purchase something like this. This is a value SSD though, so bear in mind it won't have all the trims and stuff like that, what you might get with some more expensive ones like added software and stuff like that. But for the price, if you can get it at a good price, then I can't see a reason not to get it. Again, why they hide the speeds, the max speeds, is unknown to me. It's like Ferrari making a brand new car and not telling anyone what speed it can go. What's the point in that? Everyone wants to know what speed it goes, especially when it's good. If it was bad, then I could probably understand them hiding them, but when it's good, it's a little bit daft. So would I recommend this? Yes, I would. I'd highly recommend it.